When a woman stays silent for too long, she doesn't disappear. She's just waiting to be seen. I used to believe that if I were quiet enough, kind enough, patient enough, everything would be okay. That if I simply stepped back, gave space. To the younger generation, I would be acknowledged with gratitude and love. I lived with my son and daughter-in-law for nearly 5 years. At first, it was meant to be temporary after selling my old house. I didn't know where to go next. My son said, "Come live with us. We've got a spare room." Hey, and in that moment, my heart warmed. I thought, this is what family is. That temporary eventually became forever. I slowly settled into the role of a convenient mother, the one who wakes up early to cook breakfast, folds the laundry, puts the kitchen back in order, always present but never noticed. I learned to walk softly, speak gently, and stay out of their conversations. I reminded myself, don't interfere. This is their world now. And they too got used to my presence in the house, not as a part of the story, but as part of the furniture. No one asked if I was tired. No one wondered what I used to do or who I used to be. To them, I was just an older woman, kind, quiet, and invisible. My daughter-in-law especially preferred it when I stayed in the kitchen or out of the frame in photos. Whenever guests came over, she'd call me Mom, but only in front of them. Most days, I was just her or nothing at all. But once upon a time, I was a lawyer. I stood in courtrooms. Oh, I made arguments. I fought for justice. But no one in this house ever asked me about my past. They didn't know and didn't care that I was once a woman with a voice, ideals, and a career. Until one evening, she threw a party for her friends. I, as usual, prepared the food, cleaned the glasses, set the table. I wasn't invited, of course. I was just the helper. But this time, instead of retreating, I lingered, stood quietly in the kitchen, watching through the doorway. And I heard her laugh lightly, as if it meant nothing, telling her friends I didn't have much education, probably never went to college. The table burst into laughter. I didn't react, didn't say a word. I went back to my room, reached under my bed, and pulled out an old box, one I hadn't touched in years. Inside were my law degree, letters, documents, photos, proof of a life they never asked about. The next morning, I placed that box in the middle of the kitchen table. I didn't say anything. But when my son saw it, I saw the understanding in his eyes. For the first time in years, I felt heard, not through words, but through silence. From that day on, the performance ended. No more polite smiles, no more small talk, no more dinners set for 3. I began eating alone. I read books, took long walks. I let the sun and wind remind me that I still existed, that I was still alive, truly alive, no longer a shadow in someone else's home. One evening, she brought me a box of store-bought cookies, called it a peace offering. I didn't take them. Not because I was angry, but because I didn't recognize it as sincerity. For years, she walked past me like I was a lamp, present but meaningless. And now, no box of cookies could fix those years. I didn't need them to feel guilty. I didn't need an apology. I only needed to live in the truth. I had once been a strong woman. I had dreams. I fought for things. I loved deeply. And I no longer wished to shrink myself to fit inside someone else's expectations. I called a lawyer. I rewrote my will. This house would go to a community organization. But I allowed my son to stay, not as an heir, but as a guest. Final kindness, not because he deserved it, but because I still loved him. I started packing only what truly belonged to me. My degree, the letters, a few old photographs. I found a small apartment by the lake with big windows and soft morning light. I didn't need much, only a place where I wouldn't have to explain who I was, because I already knew. The morning I left, I walked through each room, not to say goodbye, but to make peace. No one came to see me off. No one asked where I was going. I closed the door, and for the first time in many years, I felt free. Free from expectations, from roles, from the need to prove I deserved space. Now I sit on a balcony with a warm cup of tea. I read books. I write letters to myself. I grow herbs even if I might forget to water them. I no longer try to be seen because I have already seen myself. I don't hate them. I don't even need them to come back and apologize. I simply know this. I was never a shadow. I only stepped back so they could have the chance to see. But now I've stepped into the light. And I no longer need anyone's gaze because I finally see myself. If this story touched you, share it. Because sometimes all a woman needs is to be heard just once, to remember she was never gone. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who may be feeling forgotten. Leave a comment and tell us where you're watching from and if you've ever felt invisible in your own family. We're here to listen. Real moments, where the truth is told with heart. Don't forget to subscribe for more emotional, real-life stories.